Something that is not going down well. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell says the president expected too much too quickly from Congress. Roll tape.
Now, our new president had, of course, not been in this line of work before, and I think had excessive expectations about how quickly things happen in the democratic process.
Come in, Grover Norquist with Americans for Tax Reform. Grover, it really sounds like Senator McConnell is kind of edging away from, if not walking away, from tax reform this year.
I don't think so. I think he's looking backwards at what happened on health care, which was a much more challenging, problematic effort. As we look forward on tax reform, you have less problems internally inside the Republican House and Senate. Republicans do know how to cut taxes. They've done it regularly. They haven't had a lot of experience repealing or reforming entitlement programs, which we were trying to do with Medicaid and Obamacare. Still need to do it. And remember, we were stopped by one senator. One senator. That was not the Republican Party's failure. There were 3 Republican senators who voted no. Any one of those could have joined and helped make entitlement reform happen. So we have 2 elections in 2018. We need 5 new Republican senators so we don't have to return the phone calls from those senators who were problems in the last fight.
Okay, I'm sure you're involved in that. All right. Top economic advisor Gary Cohn said on this program, tax reform, full-scale tax reform will get done. Roll that tape, please. It looks like it's going to be a slimmed-down tax cut plan, slimmed down to just maybe tax cuts for individuals and tax cuts for corporations, and it's not going to be paid for. Is that how it's shaping up?
No, I don't agree with that whatsoever. The way we're going to do taxes and the way we have to do it is it's going to have to balance. We need to do permanent tax reform in the United States.
Grover, forgive me for saying this I'm not buying it. I'm not buying the idea that you can get full-fledged tax reform done this year. I'm not buying it. You?
Well, it depends what you count tax reform. I think if you take the corporate rate and the subchapter S rate down to 15%, you have territoriality. I mean, some people say, no, there's a whole bunch of other stuff you can do, too. I think you solve most of the tax reform problems on our international situation by taking the rate as low as 15.
I tell you what, let's not get confused with what is tax reform and what is tax cuts. Yeah. Do you agree with me that what it's going to come down to is a slimmed down version of tax cutting where you cut the corporate rate and the individual rate, and that's it?
I'm in favor of doing that, plus they may do some other stuff as well. But I would consider that dramatic tax reform.
Why are you so optimistic? I mean, you're on the inside of all of this. You know more about this than I do, and you're optimistic that this is going to get done. Is it wishful thinking on your part?
No, I'm talking to each of the players involved. You have 2 from the White House. Cohen was one of them. And you have the House and the Senate leadership. As Paul Ryan told me a week ago, we used to be at 80% agreement. That's when the House was still pushing for the border adjustability of the corporate income tax. Now that the House has put that aside and we're not going to do the BAT, he says now we're at 97% accord. And I think that's a fair characterization. We're going to have to make some things permanent, some things not permanent, in order to fit inside the box that the present rules require. But there's agreement about what goes in the box, and I think that if you make some things temporary, like the alternative minimum tax, they'll never go away anyway.
I'll leave it like this. Hope springs eternal with Grover Norquist.
We'll get it done. We'll get it done.
Grover, as always, thanks for being with us, sir. Appreciate it.
You got it.